Bravo! You have made it through capítulo 1. We are in week 5, module 5A. Primero tenemos un repaso, más expresiones con el verbo tener. More expressions with tener, a review. En el resto del module 5A es un repaso del capítulo 1 y es la preparación para el examen. Primero, un repaso con otras expresiones con tener, the other expressions with tener that we went over in module 4B. Repitan: tener prisa, tener frío, tener calor, tener miedo, tener hambre, tener sed, tener cuidado, tener éxito, tener ganas de, tener vergüenza, tener sueño, tener razón. Call out the English. To have caution, to have heat, to be warm, hot, to have fear, to have hunger, to have hurriedness, to have a hurry, to have cold, to be cold, to have cold, to have embarrassment, to have tiredness, to have thirst, to have success, to have a desire to have reason. Call out the Spanish. Tener prisa, tener frío, tener calor, tener miedo, tener hambre, tener sed, tener cuidado, tener éxito, tener ganas de, tener vergüenza, tener sueño, tener razón. Un poco de práctica. ¿Cómo se dice these frases en español? We also have una pregunta. Remember, all of these expressions use the verb tener, to have. They do not use the verb ser, am, is, are. These are expressions with have en español. Número 1. The girl is hungry. ¿Cómo se dice the girl is hungry? La niña o la chica tiene hambre. ¿Cómo se dice número 2? The women are thirsty. Las mujeres tienen sed. Now remember the forms of the verb tener. La niña, la chica could be replaced with ella, which takes the form tiene. Las mujeres could be replaced with ellas, that would take the form tienen. Número 3. I am careful. Tengo cuidado. Or you could say yo tengo cuidado. Keep in mind the cuidado stays as the masculine singular form. If you are a female who wants to say I am careful, you still say cuidado. It is not a description of you, like encantada, for example. It is saying something that you have, like I have a book, so it doesn't change. Número 4. The students and I are successful. Los estudiantes y yo tenemos éxito. Remember the form of the verb tener. Anytime you have yo is always nosotros. A group and I is the nosotros form, so you use tenemos. Número 5. Are you tired? And the you is singular, familiar. ¿Tienes sueño? You could put tú in there. ¿Tú tienes sueño? ¿Tienes tu sueño? Muy bien. Now we're going to begin our repaso del capítulo 1. La preparación para el examen. We're getting set for the exam that is going to be following this module. A few things that I would like, things I'd like to keep you to keep in mind. Resources to help build your Spanish skills. The first resource that you can find, open up your online book, click on the right-hand column, self-tests. After entering the self-test section, go to the left-hand column and click on the test that you want. At this point, you would be taking the post-test. See how you do. Highly recommended that you do this before taking the actual exam for the chapter. Another way to build your skills is to go into the flashcards. So you click on practice, enter the flashcard area, click on your chapter. You will see the flashcards for the various vocabulary of the chapter. And the other section that is located within practice would be the grammar tutorials and the grammar movies. So if you need a little extra support on the grammar topics, go in and do your practice. With that, let's begin our repaso. Primero, la cultura. El mundo hispanohablante, where they speak Spanish in the world, the Spanish-speaking world, countries of the world that speak Spanish. La historia del español, the history of the Spanish language, and español en el mundo, Spanish in the world. So think now about how many Spanish-speaking countries you know. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Make a list. Ready? Get a piece of paper. How many countries do you know? Go. Okay, stop where you are. Sorry, that wasn't exactly a minute. That was more like 30 seconds. But let's see what you came up with. México, España, Guinea Ecuatorial, Cuba, República Dominicana, Puerto Rico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panamá, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Perú, Bolivia, Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina. I bet you did lots better than the first slide. Now place the countries in their proper place in the world. Argentina, Sudamérica, Colombia, Sudamérica, Ecuador, Sudamérica, Guatemala, Centroamérica, México, Norteamérica, Paraguay, Sudamérica, República Dominicana, el Caribe, Bolivia, Sudamérica, Costa Rica, Centroamérica, El Salvador, Centroamérica, Guinea Ecuatorial, África, Nicaragua, Centroamérica, Perú, Sudamérica, Uruguay, Sudamérica, Chile, Sudamérica, Cuba, el Caribe, España, Europa, Honduras, Centroamérica, Panamá, Centroamérica, Puerto Rico, el Caribe, y finalmente Venezuela, Sudamérica. Let's continue with our repaso, explora y exprésate. Al fin de esta parte hay un examenito. So see what you can remember as we go through this review section. Bueno, primero información general. Spanish is the official language of 21 countries, and we already did some study about that. With almost 500 million native second language speakers internationally, Spanish is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. How widely is it spoken? Well, Spanish ranks second worldwide for number of native speakers with 405 million. And by the way, Chinese is first with 1.2 billion native speakers. English comes in third with 360 million speakers. Spanish is spoken by over 50 million people in the United States and by approximately 900,000 people in Canada. It is one of the most widely studied and fastest growing languages in both countries. So un poco más información general. This has to deal with Spanish and the internet. So what do you think? We have Spanish, we have English and Chinese. Where do you think they rank in usage on the internet? English is first, with over 800 million users. 28.5% of internet users are using English. What do you think comes in second, Spanish or Chinese? Chinese is second, with over 649 million, 23+%, and Spanish comes in third, 222 million, around 8%. The other two languages that are the most popular as far as the internet goes, the most used would be Arabic and Portuguese. Y ahora, tener en cuenta, to have in mind some history about the Spanish language. Spanish originated on the Iberian Peninsula, which is the part of land that comes out to the southwest of Europe that is comprised now of Spain and Portugal, that section of land. Originated on the Iberian Peninsula as a descendant of Latin, has Latin roots. King Alfonso X, remember his name? King Alfonso X tried to standardize the language for official use in the 13th century, in the 1200s, in the Castile region of Spain. By 1492, that date is probably familiar, when Christopher Columbus headed for the Western Hemisphere, Spanish had already become the spoken and written language that we would recognize today. Un poco más, Spanish was brought to the New World by explorers who colonized the new territories under the Spanish flag for the Spanish Empire. At its peak, El Imperio Español, and Spanish Empire, was one of the largest empires in world history. So you can see El Imperio Español, the areas that were part of the Spanish Empire at that time period. But today, there are far more Spanish speakers in Latin America than there are in Spain. So you can see the countries in Latin America and how many more people speak Spanish in Latin America than they do in Spain. As far as the idioma, the language itself, Spanish is referred to as either Español or Castellano.
Either of those words can be used to say Spanish. And like all languages, Spanish exhibits some regional variations. Similar to the United States, we have varieties of the way Spanish is spoken. Louisiana, that would be a varietal that wouldn't even be understood in other areas of the country, possibly. So Spanish exhibits these same types of regional variations, limited mainly to vocabulary and pronunciation. In spite of these variations, Spanish speakers from all over the world communicate without difficulty. So the Spanish that you are learning in this course is understood by all Spanish-speaking countries around the world. Spanish and English share many cognates, words that are similar to one another in both languages, due to the fact that many of their words have the same linguistic roots in Latin and others in Arabic. And here's some examples. Family, in Spanish and Espanol, familia, computer, computadora. We had other examples we've already learned, estudiante, student, profesora, professor, etc. Profesiones, professions. Here are just a few of the professions where Spanish is in high demand in the United States: law, medicine, tourism, social sciences, education, investment banking, sales and marketing, government, human resources, interactive media, and other professions that might be what you might be involved in, and the reason that you yourself are learning Spanish. And now for that examenito I told you was on its way, a few questions about what you just learned as far as Español, una lengua global, Spanish a global language. Número uno, in how many countries is Spanish the official language? 21. In what place does Spanish rank in terms of numbers of native speakers, not its use on the internet, but as a spoken language in the world? Second, where did Spanish originate? What is the name of the piece of land that sticks out to the southwest of Europe? The Iberian Peninsula. And who tried to standardize Spanish in the 13th century? It was a king. Do you remember his name? King Alfonso X. And finally, what do English and Spanish have in common? What's that term when words are similar in two languages? And why would that be? The roots of the languages are from where? Cognates, with the same Latin roots.
Bueno, un repaso de los mandatos comunes, common commands. As you see the pictures on the next slide, say the command en español. Abre, cierra, adivina, contesta, haz, entrega. En inglés, abre significa open, cierra, close, adivina, guess, contesta, answer, haz, do, entrega, turn in or hand in. En español, escucha, escribe, estudia, repite, lee, mándame. ¿Qué significa escucha en inglés? Listen, escribe, write, estudia, study, repite, repeat, lee, read, mándame, send to me.
Now let's do a review of the plurals. See if you can come up with the plurals for each of these. So you would be giving the command to a group of people instead of one individual. So let's start with open. Abran. Cierren. Adivinen. Contesten. Hagan. Entreguen. Escuchen. Escriban. Estudien. Repitan. Lean. Mándenme. We have a little list of vocabulary at the top. So let's see if you can come up with a command that would go with the word that I call out. So what command might you put with, let's do an example, ejemplo. Let's look at el libro. Your command might be, abran el libro, open the book. Cierren el libro, close the book, for example, okay? So come up with one. Let's go with la lección. You might have picked escuchen la lección, listen to the lesson. Escriban la lección, write the lesson. Estudien la lección, study the lesson. Okay, call out a phrase that would have to do with el audio, el audio. Muy bien, probably escuchen el audio, listen to the audio. Maybe repitan el audio, repeat the audio. How about one that would go with en el cuaderno, en el cuaderno? The best answer would be escriban en el cuaderno, write in the notebook. What about las páginas? Las páginas. Lean las páginas, read the pages. What about la respuesta? La respuesta. Adivinen la respuesta. Guess the answer. Adivinen la respuesta. There are quite a few that might go with the next one. La tarea. La tarea. I come up with quite a few. Hagan la tarea. Do the homework. Escriban la tarea. Write the homework. Entreguen la tarea. Turn in or hand in the homework. Estudien la tarea, study the homework. Mándenme la tarea, send me the homework. Quite a few you might be able to pick from there. Muy bien.
Ahora un repaso del vocabulario en capítulo preliminar, las personas y en la clase.
Muy bien, on with our repaso of las personas from capítulo preliminar. ¿Qué recuerdas? What do you remember? Name the person noted by the arrow. See if you can call out their name in Spanish before I do. El compañero de cuarto. La instructora. La mujer. El amigo. La muchacha, la chica. El niño. La estudiante. El profesor. La compañera de cuarto. El hombre. La niña. La profesora. El muchacho, el chico. La amiga. El estudiante. El instructor. Muy bien, let's continue with un repaso of the vocabulario en el salón de clase. I'll call out the número. See if you can come up with the Spanish vocabulary before I do. Número uno. El cuarto. Dos. El salón de clase. Tres. El proyector. Cuatro. La puerta. Cinco. La pizarra. Seis. La pared. Siete. La silla. Ocho. La tiza. Nueve. La pizarra interactiva. 10. La ventana. 11. El escritorio. 12. El marcador. Continuing with the rest of the vocabulary from En el salón de clase. A. El diccionario. B. La computadora portátil. C. La mochila. D. La hoja de papel. E. El lector de CD-ROM o el lector de DVD. F. Los apuntes. G. El CD. H. El cuaderno. I. La nota. J. El lápiz. K. El bolígrafo. L. La calculadora. M. El MP3 portátil. N. La tarea. O. El libro. P. La mesa. Bueno, continuing with un repaso of el vocabulario en capítulo preliminar, los números y el calendario. Repaso de los números. You'll say the number primero en español, and then I'll say it en español. So you start first, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, etc. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and of course, 100. Los meses del año. ¿Cómo se dice January? Enero, February. Febrero, March. Marzo, April. Abril, May. Mayo, June. Junio, July. Julio, August. Agosto, September. Septiembre, October. Octubre, November. Noviembre, December. Diciembre. Something to keep in mind, months are not capitalized in Spanish. Later, as we go through the course, you will see that days are also not capitalized in Spanish. To talk about dates in Spanish, use this construction. Do you remember the construction? There are 4 parts to saying the date in Spanish. El, and then the number, de, and then the month. So it's the 2nd, for example, of February. You ask the question, ¿cuál es la fecha? Or you can hear, ¿qué día es hoy? ¿Cuál es la fecha? What's the date? Or, ¿qué día es hoy? What's the day today? Es el 11 de febrero, por ejemplo. It is the 11th of February. The exception to that is talking about the first day of the month where you use primero, you use first. Por ejemplo, es el primero de marzo. Keep in mind that when abbreviating the date, the day is first followed by the month. So for example, if we saw 8-3 in English, that would be August 3rd. But remember, the day is always first in Spanish, so 8-3-18 would be el 8 de marzo 2018. Y ahora un poco de práctica, keeping in mind when abbreviating the day is first and then the month. Número 1. El 8 de marzo. 2. El 11 de octubre. 3. El 1 de julio. Remember, you would not say el 1 de julio, that's the exception. El 1 de julio. 4. El 12 de mayo. Y 5. El 9 de noviembre. The other part of this, of course, is saying your birthday. La pregunta is, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? So ask me that question, please. Let me hear you say, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Perdón. Mi cumpleaños es el 19 de septiembre. Now you contesta a mi pregunta. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Bien. Ahora un repaso de los artículos definidos y indefinidos. What are the four definite articles? El, la, which mean the. And the plural for el would be los. The plural for la would be las. And what do los and las mean? Also the. Now, I don't want to be definite. I don't want to say the book, the pencil. I just want to have any old book or pencil. What are the indefinite articles? Singular. Un, una. And what do un and una mean? They can mean a or an, depending on the word that follows them. So a book, perdón, or an eraser, for example. What are the plurals? What is the plural of un? Unos. The plural of una. Unas. And what do unos and unas mean? Some. Why are there so many ways to say the, or a, or an, or some? What is the agreement rule in Spanish? Articles have to match the noun in number, singular, plural, and in gender, masculine, feminine. So, for example, if I wanted to say the book, libro, how would I say the in front of libro? El libro. If I wanted to say some books, unos libros, I need the masculine plural. How about if I wanted to say a table, mesa? Una mesa, a table, singular, feminine. What if I have backpacks? I want to say the backpacks, mochilas. Las mochilas, because I have a feminine plural noun. Y ahora la práctica. ¿Cómo se dice en español? There are some professors in the room. Professors in this case is masculine plural. Look at your nouns. Look to see if it's a definite or indefinite article that you need, and then do the matching. Hay unos profesores en el cuarto. Profesores is a masculine plural noun. It means the masculine plural indefinite article unos. Cuarto, masculine singular noun. Needs the masculine singular definite article el. ¿Cómo se dice? The girl is a good student. La chica or la niña es una estudiante buena. Chica or niña is a feminine singular noun, needing the feminine singular definite article the, la. Estudiante, feminine singular noun, needing the feminine singular indefinite article una. 3. ¿Cómo se dice I have some books in the backpack? Tengo unos libros en la mochila. Libros is a masculine plural noun. Requires the masculine plural indefinite article unos. Mochila, feminine singular noun. Requires the feminine singular definite article la. Last one, ¿cómo se dice she has some notes for the classes? Ella tiene unos apuntes para las clases. Apuntes is a masculine plural noun. Requires the masculine plural indefinite article, unos. Clases is a feminine plural noun requiring the feminine plural article, definite article for the, las. Moving on, let's talk about subject pronouns and our verbs ser, tener, and I. Let's begin with our subject pronouns. Subject pronouns, what part of speech do they play? What's their role in a sentence? A subject pronoun replaces the subject. So, ¿cómo se dice I en español? Yo. You, singular familiar, one person. Tú. He. Él, with an accent, by the way. Tú also has an accent. Changes the meaning without the accent. Tú without accent means your. El without the accent means the. ¿Cómo se dice she? Ella. You, singular formal. Usted. What are the two ways to say we? Nosotras, if your group is we, all masculine or masculine and feminine. Nosotras, if the we in that case is all feminine. ¿Cómo se dice you guys or you gals or you guys and gals? And this is how they would be casual in Spain only. Vosotros, vosotras. ¿Cómo se dice they if your group is all masculine or masculine and feminine? Ellos. ¿Cómo se dice they? The group is all feminine. Ellas. And ¿cómo se dice y'all? You all. Formal in Spain and how you would say you all in all other Spanish-speaking countries. Ustedes. Let's go on to our verbs. ¿Qué significa ser en inglés? Ser means to be. ¿Cómo se dice I am? Yo soy. You are. Tú eres. He is, she is, or you formal are. Él es, ella es, usted es. ¿Cómo se dice we are? Nosotros or nosotras somos. You guys, you gals are. Vosotros, vosotras sois. They are or y'all are. Ellos son, ellas son, ustedes son. Let's move on to tener. ¿Qué significa tener en inglés? Tener means to have. ¿Cómo se dice I have? Yo tengo, you have. Tú tienes. He, she, or you formal have. Él tiene, ella tiene, usted tiene. ¿Cómo se dice we have? Nosotros, nosotras tenemos. You guys, you gals have. Vosotros, vosotras tenéis. They have or y'all have. Ellos tienen, ellas tienen, ustedes tienen. How do you remember all of these forms? Well, take some time to write it, make charts. Don't stop until you have it memorized. You just keep working on it, get it into your brain. These are the patterns that verbs will follow throughout the rest of the chapters that we study as we go into verbs. You'll have the grid one line down, two across, singulars on the left, plurals on the right, first person, second person, third person. So just work on them and memorize them. So a few particulars here about the use of el verbo ser. The Spanish verb ser can be used to identify people. For example, él es estudiante, to identify objects. The book is large. El libro es grande. To describe them, to make introductions. Ella es Elena. She is Elena. And to say when something will take place. It's one of two Spanish verbs that are the equivalents of the English verb to be. So here are some ejemplos. Mi teléfono es el 230.
39, 71, 49. Yo soy Mariela y ella es Elena. La fiesta es el miércoles. So this is where we're going to be using the form of the verb ser to describe when something will take place. And we noted a bit before, we'll note this again in chapter 4, that estar, which you've already learned in the expression como estás, como está, como están, also means to be, but I always say estar means to be feeling or to be located. So como estás, how are you, air quotes, feeling. And we'll learn more about that in capítulo 4. Verbs change form to reflect the number and person. Number refers to singular versus plural. Person refers to different subjects. So first person singular, first person plural, etc. Yo soy, different subjects. Tú eres. A verb's tense indicates the time frame in which an event takes place. For example, I talk on the phone, I talked on the phone, I will talk on the phone. The present indicative tense, which is what we're going to be working on in all of our chapters in our course, chapters 1 to 4, the present indicative tense refers to present time events, talking about what I'm doing right now. You'll get into the other tenses in later chapters if you continue on with Spanish. So let's do a little práctica. Here are our forms of the verb ser: yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros, nosotras somos, vosotros, vosotras sois, ellos, ellas, ustedes son. So fill in the blank. Now, why don't you read the whole sentence aloud and filling in the correct form of el verbo. Número 1. Lee, por favor, with la forma correcta. Bien, Elena es de Cuba. No, Elena is from Cuba, right? No. Número 2. Read it aloud. Lee, por favor. Bien, mis amigos son altos. My friends are tall. 3. Easy one. Yo soy de los EEUU. I am from the United States, the USA. Número 4. Careful. Remember the trick we just learned? Muy bien. Y yo, nosotros. Ella y yo somos estudiantes. She and I are students. 5. Bien. Tú y David sois instructores if you were in Spain. Tú y David son instructores because tú y David will be replaced with ustedes. Y finalmente, número 6, easy, you can see the subject pronoun right in the sentence. Bien, tú eres cómica.
Now let's talk about the use of the verb tener, to have. Tener is used to talk about possessing something. The verb tener means to have. So for example, I have a book, yo tengo un libro. You also use tener to talk about how old someone is, because in Spanish, a person has a number of years. They are not the number. I would not say she is 22. I would not turn her into the number 22. I would say in Spanish, she has 22 years. Tener is also used to talk about what people have to do. So you conjugate the verb tener, you put in the word que, and then you use a verb infinitive. And remember that a verb infinitive is the form of the verb before it's conjugated. For example, I have to study, yo tengo que estudiar. They have to read, ellos tienen que leer. There are many expressions in the Spanish language that use the verb tener. We reviewed these at the beginning of this module. How do you learn them? Well, you simply memorize them. You learn them like we did with our little devices and pictures, and you just work on them and memorize them. Y ahora la práctica. ¿Cómo se dice en español? ¿Cómo se dice? Maria has to speak Spanish. María tiene que hablar español. Remember that second verb is not conjugated. Tags along in the infinitive form that ends in AR, ER, or IR. It is the to form of the verb. So Maria has to speak Spanish. Como se dice the boys are 12 years old? Remember, this is a have expression, not an am is are be expression. Los chicos tienen 12 años. Como se dice my friend, who happens to be female, and I have an exam today? Mi amiga y yo tenemos un examen hoy. Remember that you use the we form of the verb. Any group and I, y yo, goes to the nosotros form of the verb. Cuatro. Are you tired? Remember, this is a tener expression. It is not an am is are expression in Spanish. Are you tired? ¿Tienes sueño? You could add tu if you wanted to, or leave it out. And finally, I have to go. We use this expression in our greetings. I have to go. Farewells, actually. Tengo que irme. And you can put the yo in there or leave it out. Ay, ay, ay. What do you remember about this little interesting verb? Repitan, por favor. Ay, ay, ay. There is, there is, there is. There are, there are, there are. Ay, ay, ay. Is, there is, there. Are, there are, there. Ay, ay, ay. This one little word has lots of meanings. I can mean there is, there are, is there, are there, depending on if there are question marks in that statement. Many of you in your recordings said hey or a with this word. Please remember the H is silent in Spanish. A is always pronounced ah. So this comes out I. Ojo, look out. I is only used with numbers and indefinite articles. For example, hay 3 libros en la mesa. That's a number. There are 3 books on the table. Hay unos bolígrafos en mi mochila. There are some pens in my backpack. That's an indefinite article. I is never used with definite articles. You cannot say I el chico. There is the boy. That is not a construction in Spanish. Bueno, so un poco de práctica. ¿Cómo se dice en español? There is a pencil on the table. Hay un lápiz en la mesa. ¿Cómo se dice? There are some men in the classroom. Hay unos hombres en el salón de clase. ¿Y cómo se dice? Are there 20 students in the class? ¿Hay 20 estudiantes en la clase? Bueno, la parte final of our repaso el vocabulario. This was our greetings vocabulary. Para saludar y responder. How to greet and how to respond. Para pedir y dar información. How to ask for and give information. Para presentar a alguien y responder. How to present someone to another person and respond. Para despedirse. How to say farewell. And finalmente, para hablar por teléfono. How to speak on the phone. So as the greetings come up, I would ask that you read them with me. Let's read them juntos, so that you just get them in your mind, taking a look at the translation. So read along with me. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás tú? ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo les va? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? Buenos días. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Bien, gracias. Bastante bien. No muy bien. Regular. Terrible. Fatal. No mucho. Nada. ¿Y tú? ¿Y usted? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo. Yo soy. Mi nombre es. Mucho gusto. Perdón. Mucho gusto en conocerte. Encantado. For females, encantada. Igualmente. El gusto es mío. Un placer. ¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono? ¿Cuál es su número de teléfono? Mi número de teléfono es el 371-2812. Es el 371-2812. ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vive? Vivo en los Estados Unidos. El estado de Nueva York. La ciudad de Buffalo. El barrio, la colonia, la avenida, la calle. ¿Cuál es tu dirección? ¿Cuál es su dirección? Mi dirección es la avenida, la calle, número. ¿Cuál es tu dirección electrónica? ¿Cuál es su dirección electrónica? Mi dirección es. Aquí tienes mi dirección electrónica. Aquí tiene mi dirección electrónica. Soy. Me llamo. Mi nombre es. Quiero presentarte a. Quiero presentarle a. Quiero presentarles a. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto en conocerte. En conocerle. En conocerles. Encantado. Encantada. Igualmente. El gusto es mío. Un placer. Adiós. Hasta luego. Hasta mañana. Hasta pronto. Nos vemos. Chao. Bueno, tengo que irme. Y ahora la práctica. ¿Cómo contestas? You hear someone say a certain comment or ask a question, and how would you respond? You hear buenos días. You could say hola or buenos días back. You hear ¿qué tal? You could answer bien, gracias. No muy bien, bastante bien. ¿Cómo contestas if someone asks you ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. No muy bien, bastante bien. How about if someone asks you ¿Cómo le va? Or the familiar ¿cómo te va? Same thing. Bastante bien, muy bien, no muy bien. Regular, terrible. Now someone asks you ¿qué hay de nuevo? This is a different response. ¿Qué hay de nuevo? No mucho, nada. What's new? Can't be answered with well, very well. Needs to be answered with not much. What's new? Not much, nothing. ¿Cómo contestas a la pregunta ¿cómo te llamas? Me llamo. Yo soy. Give your name. Mi nombre es. I had many instances in which students said, me llamo es. Keep in mind, me llamo means I call myself. Yo soy means I am. Mi nombre es means my name is. If you say me llamo es, you're saying I call myself is. So please keep them distinct from one another. Now, if someone presents themselves to you, me llamo, yo soy, mi nombre es, or somebody says, quiero presentarte a, you just met someone, greeted someone and met them, how would you respond that it's nice to meet them? Many different responses. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto en conocerte, if it's an older person, en conocerle. Encantado, for the gentleman saying nice to meet you. Encantada, for the lady saying nice to meet you. Un placer. And the person could respond back, me too, igualmente. Or they could say, el gusto es mío, the pleasure is mine. Bueno, you're somewhere in the world, let's say you're in Argentina, and somebody asks you, ¿Dónde vives? Vivo en. So if they ask where you live, of course you wouldn't start right off with your address. Give them a general idea of where you live. So what would be the most general? Vivo en los Estados Unidos, or you could say los EEUU. How about if you want to give your state? Vivo en el estado de Nueva York. They might know New York, so you might want to continue with the city. La ciudad de Buffalo. They might be familiar with the city, so continue with your neighborhood, your town. El barrio de, la colonia de Amherst, por ejemplo. How would you respond to ¿cuál es tu número de teléfono? Mi número de teléfono es el, and give the numbers, or es el, and give the numbers. Now let's say you are in Buffalo. You're on the west side where people are speaking Spanish, and someone asks you, ¿cuál es tu dirección? Instead of where you live, they're asking now, ¿cuál es tu dirección? What's your address? Mi dirección es la avenida, la calle, followed by número. Remember, you give the street first and then the number. In English, we give the number first and then the street. ¿Cómo contestas a la pregunta ¿cuál es tu dirección electrónica? Mi dirección es, aquí tienes mi dirección electrónica. And finally, they say, bueno, tengo que irme, I have to go. What are some ways that you can say goodbye? Adiós, hasta luego, hasta pronto, hasta mañana, nos vemos. Or you can say the more informal ciao. Un poco más, some conversations, a familiar conversation if you are on the phone. So let's just read these together. Hola. Hola. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Nada. ¿Y tú? ¿Quieres hacer algo? Claro. ¿Nos vemos donde siempre? Está bien. Hasta luego. Ciao. Now let's move on to our final conversation, a little bit more formal now. Just read along with me. ¿Aló? Hola, ¿puedo hablar con...? Sí, aquí está. Now let's continue and say the person is not there. Lo siento, no está. Por favor, Dígale que llamó. Mi número es el... Muy bien. Muchas gracias. De nada. Adiós. Adiós.
Muy bien, es el fin de Module 5A y el fin de capítulo 1. Good luck with el examenito, buen trabajo y hasta pronto.